Let's kind of go into one of the things that we typically would see that deployed in a sports scenario is something like a stat graphic. So this particular stat graphic has already some fields already sent to it, but like I mentioned during my segment is that we can build out something like records of information with a tool like multi-entry. Here you will see for the first column or the first row of information, we have the different variables from live data. So we can see things like name, images, position, uniform, stat labels, and the specific stats that correspond to a stat label. Then we see those same live data variables, which are all text other than the image, pretty much broken down here in a sequence where pretty much we can then build out information for those records. So now we can kind of build out one row as an example. So I can put my first and last name there. And then let's say, for example, I wanted to use a player image. I can find something to use, probably this little picture of a dog right there. And we can start assigning a position here. We can put WR for wide receiver. Uniform, I'm going to put 12 there. And we can start seeing, we can see how it is that we can start applying these different things. For stat labels, I'm going to go ahead and match what it is that we had on that previous record. TO, FGA, and FGM. Now, if we scroll over to the right, we can see the different stat labels or the different statistic that belongs to that first row. So I'm going to go ahead and put in some different information for the sake of showing how those two sets of information being different from each other will update while live. We'll put 3 there and I'll put 9. And we can even possibly put a different logo image there. I'll go ahead and use that little controller image. Now we can see that right now in preview, I can select between these two different sets of information and we see those updates being applied. However, when we navigate to Program Monitor and we send this graphic to play live, we'll see that we're currently on our first row of information, but now navigating to the second one will automatically populate all those sets of information into the graphic. So for example, if you want to go through all your different player lower thirds, all the way from your visitor team and then have that information all curated to one specific set of multi-entry data, you can then do something like duplicate this template. And then we can see that some of these fields will be retained. So for example, if you build out a template of information and you don't want to retype your stat labels again, you can do something like that and then build out all the other information that isn't something that is something that will change between different records, then make those changes accordingly.